Welcome to the narration of the Mokshda Ekadashi Katha, which happens to be Gita Jayanti this year as well. Mokshda Ekadashi is a very special Ekadashi in two regards. The all-auspicious day on which Lord Krishna spoke the Srimad Bhagavad-Gita to Arjun on the battlefield of Kurukshetra at the place now known as Jyotish Tirth. Anyone who gives a Bhagavad-Gita away to a deserving person on this day is bestowed profuse blessings by the Krishna Bhagwan. The ancient history of Mokshda Ekadashi from Brahmanda Puran. Yudhishthir Maharaj said, O Vishnu, master of all, O delight of the three worlds, O Lord of the entire universe, O creator of the world, O oldest personality, O best of all beings, I offer my most respectful obeisances unto you. O Lord of the Lords, for the benefit of all living entities, kindly answer some questions that I have. What is the name of the Ekadashi that occurs during the light fortnight of the month of Marshish, November to December, and removes all sins? How does one observe it properly, and which deity is worshipped on that holiest of days? O my Lord, please explain this to me in full. Lord Shri Krishna replied, O dear Yudhishthir, your enquiry is very auspicious in itself and will bring you fame, just as I previously explained to you about the dearest Utpanna Mahadvadashi, which occurs during the dark part of the month of Marshish, which is the day when Ekadashi Devi developed or appeared from my body to kill the demon Mura, and which benefits everything animate and inanimate in the three worlds. So I shall now relate to you regarding this Ekadashi that occurs during the light part of the month of Marshish. This Ekadashi is famous as Mokshda because it purifies the faithful devotee of all sinful reactions and bestows liberation upon him. The worshipable deity of this all auspicious day is Lord Damodara. With full attention, one should worship him with incense, a ghee lamp, fragrant flowers, and tulsi manjaris or the buds. O best of saintly kings, please listen as I narrate to you the ancient and auspicious history of this wonderful Ekadashi. Simply by hearing this history, one can attain the merit earned by performing a horse sacrifice. By the influence of this merit, one's forefathers, mothers, sons, and other relatives who have gone to hell can turn around and go to the heavenly kingdom. For this reason alone, O king, you should listen with rapt attention to this narration. There once was a beautiful city named Champak Nagar, which was decorated with devoted Vaishnavas. There the best of saintly kings, Maharaj Vaikansa, ruled over the subjects as if they were his very own dear sons and daughters. The Brahmins in that capital city were all expert in 4 kinds of Vedic knowledge. The king, while ruling properly, had a dream one night in which his father was seen to be suffering the pangs of hellish torture in one of the hellish planets ruled over by the Yamaraj. The king was overwhelmed with compassion for his father and shed tears. The next morning, Maharaj Vaikansa described what he had seen in his dreams to his council of twice-born learned Brahmins. O Brahmins, the king addressed them, in a dream last night I saw my father suffering on a hellish planet. He was crying out in anguish, O son, please deliver me from this torment of the hellish condition. Now I have no peace in my mind, and even this beautiful kingdom has become unbearable for me. Not even my horses, elephants, and chariots, and my vast wealth in my treasury that formerly brought so much pleasure, gives me no pleasure at all. Everything, O best of the Brahmins, even my own wife and sons, have become a source of unhappiness since I beheld my father suffering the tortures of that hellish condition. So where can I go, and what can I do, O Brahmins, to alleviate his misery? My body is burning with fear and sorrow. Please tell me what kind of charity, what mode of fasting, what austerity, or what deep meditation, and in service upon which deity I may have to perform upon my forefathers. O best among the Brahmins, what is the use of one's being a powerful son if one's father must suffer on a hellish planet? Truly, such a son's life is utterly useful to him and to his forefathers. The twice-born Brahman said, O king, in the mountainous forest not far from here is the ashram where a great saint Parvat Muni resides. Please go to him, for he is Trikal Gyani. He knows the past, the present, and the future of everything and can surely help you in your gaining relief from your misery. Upon hearing his advice, the distressed king immediately set out on a journey to the ashram of the famous sage Parvat Muni. The ashram was indeed very big and housed many learned sages expert in chanting the sacred hymns of the four Vedas, the Rig, Yajur, Sama, and Atharva. Approaching the holy ashram, the king beheld Parvat Muni seated among the assembly of sages, adorned with hundreds of tilaks from all the authorized sampradayas like the Brahma or Vyas. Maharaj Vaikansha offered his humble obeisances to the Muni, bowing his head and then prostrating his entire body before him. After the king had seated himself among the assembly, Parvat Muni asked him about the welfare of the 7 limbs of his kingdom, his ministers, his treasury, his military forces, his allies, the Brahmins, the sacrificial offerings performed, and the needs of his subjects. The Muni also asked him if his kingdom was free of troubles and whether everyone was peaceful, happy, and satisfied. To these enquiries, the king replied, By your mercy, O glorious and great sage, all 7 limbs of my kingdom are doing very well. Yet there is a problem that has recently arisen, and to solve it I have come to you, O Brahman, for your expert help and guidance. Then Parvat Muni, the best of all sages, closed his eyes and meditated on the king's past, present, and future. In his previous life, he quarreled with his wife and forcibly enjoyed her. During her menstrual period, she tried to protest and resist his advances and even yelled out, Someone please save me, please, O husband, do not interrupt my monthly period in this way. Still, he did not stop or leave her alone. It is an account of this grievous sin that your father now has fallen into such a hellish condition of suffering. King Vaikansha then said, O greatest among sages, by what process of fasting or charity I may liberate my dear father from such a condition? Please tell me how I can relieve and remove the burden of his sinful reactions, which are a great obstacle to his progress toward ultimate release, salvation, liberation, or going back home. Parvat Muni replied, During the light fortnight of the month of Makshish, there occurs an Ekadashi called Mokshda. If you observe this sacred Ekadashi strictly with full fast and give directly your suffering father the merit of you thus obtain, he will be freed from his pain and instantly liberated. Hearing this, Maharaj Vaikansha profusely thanked the great sage and returned to his palace to perform his austere vrata. O Yudhishthir, when the light part of the month of Makshish at last arrived, Maharaj Vaikansha faithfully waited for the Ekadashi Tithi to arrive. He then perfectly and with all faith observed the Ekadashi fast with his wife, children, and other relatives. He dutifully gave the merit from his fast to his father, and as he made the offering, beautiful flower petals showered down from the Devas, who peered out from behind the clouds in the sky. The king's father was then praised by the messengers of the demigods or the Devas and escorted to the celestial region. As he passed his son, as he traversed the lower to middle to higher planets, the father said to the king, My dear son, all auspiciousness unto you. At last he reached the heavenly realm from where he can again, with his newly acquired merit, perform devotional service to Krishna or Vishnu, and in due course return back to home, back to Godhead. O son of Pandu, whosoever strictly observes the sacred Mokshda, following the established rules and regulations, achieves full and perfect liberation after death. There is no better fasting than this Ekadashi of the light fortnight of the month of Makshish. O Yudhishthir, for it is a crystal clear and sinless day. Whoever faithfully observes this Ekadashi fast, which is like Chintamani, a gem that yields all desires, obtains special merit that is very hard to calculate, for this day can elevate one from hellish life to the heavenly planets. And for one who observes Ekadashi For his own spiritual benefit, this elevates one to go back to Godhead, never to return to this material world. Thus end the narration of the glories of Margshirsh Shukla Ekadashi or Mokshda Ekadashi from Brahmand Puran. Wish you all a very happy fasting, and please try to recite all the 700 shlokas of Bhagavad-Gita as well. Thank you for joining. Hare Krishna and Happy Gita Jayanti.